So, in terms of that one, then, Quimbulis, what were the sort of the main flashpoints, do you reckon, in terms of that race? What were the key moments that decided the ultimate result?
I mean, you've got to give it to the first safety car restart being a really important moment, just as drivers were getting settled in, and a lot of the running order stayed fairly steady throughout the rest of it. But I mean, obviously, Husam checking out up front and really just controlling the race from the get-go. But we saw some really great midfield battles, and I would also say that the point where Rage swapped with his teammate in order to get the faster car ahead with Mark Hopkins there really moved that whole group forward.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we then saw towards the end of the race as well that Mark was then able to get right up behind Luke, whereas he'd been trailing by about 3 seconds or so when he made that initial swap with Rage. And so the fight was clearly on, but just without the added benefit that his teammate had of those softer, younger tires, he was finding life a bit more difficult in terms of getting by, really, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, and it just goes to show just what the tire advantage can be and how important it is to have a good tire strategy throughout all the rounds this season. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that as we go up and down the calendar and up and down the divisions to see which strategies, and may not be necessarily the fastest raw pace drivers to get there, but sometimes the smarter driver is going to pick up positions by being on the right tire at the right time.
Absolutely. And then in terms of some of those overtakes, obviously at the safety car restart, we saw the incident with Donald getting all tangled with the McLaren behind, and whether or not that McLaren was tagged by somebody else behind them. I mean, I'm not too sure because they were off camera when that incident happened. But that certainly, I mean, Donald was looking really competitive up until that point, I would have said.
Yeah, and I believe he took the fastest lap at the end of the race there and kept any of the ones inside the top 10 from getting the bonus points. So definitely one to keep an eye out for the rest of the season. If they can steer clear of some of those incidents, keep that front wing clean, they've definitely got the pace to be a good challenger there.
Absolutely. I think we're just going to have a look at that incident then. So yeah, just in the background you can see a couple of incidents. That may well have been the start of the race, in fact. Yes, that's what I'm being told. So that's the start of the race there that we see. Then we had this 3-wide moment, very reminiscent of Alonso and Massa and Mark Webber in 2012 when they were going all side by side. And then, of course, the compromised exit from Donald there just meant that he was then a sitting duck for the Red Bulls to just go by on that second DRS straight. And we see here Husam just making their way past Timalele as they headed into the pits. And that was on the safety car restart, in fact. So safety car restart, there you go. You see the contact briefly there between the McLaren and the Renault. They both go off circuit and then rejoin, and a couple of cars just darting around them, including, of course, eventual P4 man Morwood, who did incredibly well in terms of getting those tyres all the way to the end, because his teammate, of course, as we mentioned in commentary, designed to bail out on those particular hard tyres and go onto the softs towards the end.
Yeah, the splitting of the strategy, I think, worked out well. If they had both stayed out, we may not have seen Booth have the pace that Morwood did. He clearly managed the tires a lot better than his teammate, but by staying out and splitting the strategy, I think it's a good points haul for Haas in the team's championship and the constructors championship inside the division, after coming together at the start and really kind of forcing an early pit stop for both of them.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And then we're just having a look at this incident here. And this was one which I thought may have ended up having a much bigger impact on the race than it actually ended up doing. Off went Erbil there in the Renault as they were being chased by the previous leader of the race and eventual winner, of course, Husam. That unforced error, just lighting up the rear tyres and spinning off and hitting the wall, disconnecting the rear left tyre. I thought for sure that was going to be another safety car or another virtual safety car, perhaps, as we saw in PC Division 1 yesterday. And of course, if either of those scenarios had happened, then all of a sudden, Husam would have been in a much worse off position, because he was in, I believe, about P5, P6 at the time, having just done his stop. And so therefore, to lose a bunch of time to the cars ahead, who would have gotten a free pit stop out of it, would have been pretty gut-wrenching, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the safety car and VSC can always, throw a wrench in the works for all the drivers, but it looked like that Erbil spun far enough off track, and I think there might even be a little marshal's post right there on the inside, but lighting up the rear tires out of that corner there. It happens a lot. It's definitely a high action spot for people losing the car in unforced ways.
Yes, indeed. And then we're just seeing here Morwood chasing after Rage. This is, I believe, late on in the race, and or rather Rage getting past Morwood, and that was a move which proved fairly decisive, because of course if he hadn't been able to get that move done, then we may well have seen Morwood on the podium and Rage not.
Yeah, Morwood stayed right up with that lead pack very late in the race there, and definitely could have gone a little bit different. I do think though that stretching those tires, I think today's result, he maximized what he could and did a great job there.
Yes, of course, because as whilst it was a great drive and really good, especially in defence against Dog and the tyre preservation, as you mentioned, we do have to, of course, mention the fact that they did come together with their teammate. That is the first rule of racing, that you do not break, do not hit your teammate. And so for that reason, that sort of leads us nicely now into our sort of drivers of the day. Now, for me personally, I would say that if Morwood had been the victim of unlucky circumstance and then made his way back to where he finished, then I would have said he was my driver of the day. But I think that because there was that incident between the two teammates, that kind of disqualifies them, if anything, from my particular selection. I would probably be more inclined to say Rage and agree with the Twitch chat. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I would have to agree to go with Rage as well. It definitely. We were speculating both in the team's reveal stream and in the pre-show for this race how Rage would do coming back to PC Division 2 and getting it back into a more comfortable set, and right out the gate there he is on the podium. So we should definitely look forward to him potentially being a championship challenger.
Absolutely. So we've run our course then this evening. We've had a very good time of it. In fact, it's very good to be back. And of course, we will have an awful lot more racing coming for you in the following weeks and months. We'll have a couple of special off-week events here and there as well, after I believe our 4th and 8th rounds. So we'll give you a bit more information on those as and when we get closer to them. So as you can see there, we have Spain, Italy, Azerbaijan, Mexico, Bahrain, Austria, Belgium, Japan, Hungary, Canada, then finishing at Silverstone in Great Britain. So those are the races still coming up with their respective times and the weekends in which they will take place. Of course, we've got Division 1 will be taking place on a Friday, as happened yesterday, and then we've got Division 2 today, and that will be on the official FRS broadcast with myself and Quimbulis, and we will then be able to bring you all the other divisions that we can as scheduling and work conflicts and so on permit. So we will. We also just want to make you aware, of course, if you are paying attention to the posts on the subreddit and in our Discord server and just around in terms of things like our channel description, which I'm sure we can update to reflect this. But we have some community streams. So whether that be some of the guys who are racing, or whether it's those who are broadcasting rather than us at the sort of official team, then please do go check them out, especially on those days when we're not broadcasting and the main channel is offline. We've got some streams coming up tomorrow, for example, for some of the lower divisions and divisions on other platforms and things like that as well, which will be well worth the watch, I'm sure. I'm certainly going to tune in at various points during the day. And apart from that, we will see you next week. Of course, we would love you to come and check out the subreddits that are involved with us here at FRS. There's, of course, r/Formula 1, the official Formula 1 subreddit with well over 1 million subscribers now. Please do come and check that out if you are interested in being involved with the Formula 1 community on Reddit. And then, of course, there is r/F1 Games as well, which is the big hub for the F1 games by Codemasters on Reddit as well, with a rapidly growing community, it must be said. So then, I have been Daniel Gilligan. I have very much enjoyed hosting this evening's stream for you all at home, whether it is the morning, the afternoon, or the evening for you. I have been joined, of course, by the wonderful Quimbulis.
Thank you for having me along. I've got to hurry off and jump in the car for the Xbox division races going on, and definitely you can check out the YouTube channel for past broadcasts, and same with the Twitch channel here. So a lot of stuff gets posted on both of those areas. If you check the our Formula 1 YouTube channel, you can see some of the previous season's history go through.
Absolutely. And you know what, whilst you're here, we might as well engage in a little bit of shameless self-promotion. What's your Twitch channel? Are you going to be broadcasting your point of view of that Xbox race?
I will have mine going up. It is twitch.tv/Quimbulus, my name, QUIMBULUSYT. And I throw it up every week so you can see what a middle of the pack driver is going to look like. Because I think it's going to be quite a challenge for me to get on the podiums this season, because Xbox division has gotten much better.
Well, I'll certainly be one of the guys supporting you. I'll be part of the Quimbulus army, or whatever nickname we come up for it. The Quimbulus cult, perhaps. Who knows? We've also been joined, of course, by the slightly quieter and less inclined to come on the microphone, but as always, the Mac Daddy of the FRS stream team, and that is Mr. Tom Mac.
Thank you very much. Have a good stream today, and we'll be back next week, Friday, with Division 1. But make sure you go and check out all the community streams that have been getting set up for it feels like hundreds, but the 13 other divisions we've got in the league that the majority of them have streams for. So we'll get them all sort of hosted and raided on Twitch as and when they come about. So make sure you go and check them out. The night is still young, so plenty more racing going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have been FRS. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time.